started on Root Sports. Up next, Gonzaga takes on San Francisco. The Dons have won 3 straight against the Zags at home, 2 of them in overtime. Barry Tompkins and Dan Belwamini have the call.
Parker gets around Olynyk, but Bell right on him. Now Christensen steps outside. They won't guard Christensen out there, not a real threat. Here's Dooley, 7 on the shot clock. Got to recognize here. Now 5, tough 3 for Dickerson. 1 only. Well, the Dons run it down. I'm about to say 1 only, and Christensen got a hand on it. Here's Doolin stepping into the basket.
Well, you got to credit Christensen with that opportunity. Christensen at least ran it down and created an extra shot. Well, it's a tough matchup inside for Christensen against Olynyk. And look at it, posting up Elias Harris right down in that area, Barry. And they're just going to try to post high to low to Harris.
Which they did, but Harris couldn't finish. It's knocked out of bounds by Hart. It'll be a USF ball.
Well, this is Pangos to Olynyk. And unusual for a big guy to really run the floor as well as Olynyk. That's why the pro guys love him. I mean, you got to remember, he redshirted a year ago.
That's right.
2 years ago, Barry only averaged 5 points a game. Of course, they had certainly guys in front of him, but still, Olynyk just has many skills.
Yeah, you have to guard him all over the floor because he can step out and shoot a 3. Very comfortable doing that. Christensen trying to back Olynyk down. Jump hook comes up short, and that's because of Olynyk's size. Pangos just right now for 3. This off the front rim. Adams with the rebound.
I think the other player for San Francisco has to come up big this afternoon is De'Ann Harris. He's the West Coast Conference Player of the Week and been playing extremely well. But he needs to really step up. Yeah, De'Ann Parker, of course. I mean, of course, De'Ann Parker has to step up and play really well.
So the Dons turn it over here. 7-4 ball game. We're just getting started here. Just played 3 minutes. Christensen comes out of the game, and Tao Zhu comes into the game for the Dons. Now, he does give him a lot of size, but he's also going to give up some quickness.
It's interesting, too. Rex Walters has De'Ann Parker guarding on the perimeter, and Cody Doolin taking Mike Hart. Now, Mike Hart is, 6'6", so Cody's giving up a lot of size, but Hart is a guy that really does not look for his own shot a lot. And Parker is defending on the perimeter.
Zhu did a pretty nice job with Olynyk, and Olynyk lost the handle, gets it back now. Got 5 on the shot clock. Got to recognize Pangos. Leave for Olynyk to the basket.
It's impossible if you're guarding Olynyk, in my view, to leave him. Even though Pangos has some penetration, you cannot leave Olynyk. Great pass by Pangos.
And you got to love just the clock ticking down. No panic.
Unselfish.
3rd layup and dunk already for Gonzaga. They're making it look easy. It's because they're good. Here's Harris. Now Hart. Harris to the basket. That's the 4th dunk. And that will get Rex Walder up off the bench quickly. A quick timeout here. 30-second timeout called by Rex Walters just to kind of stop the bleeding here. So Gonzaga out very quickly. Great ball movement, great vision, great finish. That's what they're doing. They lead by 7. They got Barham on the floor right now, and also Sam Dowers. Dowers can score. Cody Doolin comes up short. Zhu fights for the rebound. It's going to be out of bounds to Gonzaga. And now we might get an overrule. Frank Harvey comes in. Now they change it. Harvey said, I had a better look at it. Good work by the officials. It's going to be USF ball. And we've got a timeout. 15-16 remaining. The score remains 11-4. Gonzaga with a lead. Look at that great pass, and Harris with the flush. It's just that easy. We're coming back. 5, and Gonzaga either 3 or 5. Michigan right there. I mean, they're in some pretty select company here.
Yeah, they are in some select company, and yeah, you look at the job Mark Few has done, which is unbelievable. But I really think this team, with their depth, they have a chance to win a national championship. I don't think there's a dominant team in college basketball. My opinion, Barry, I think Indiana's the best team in the country. Now, having said that, are they beatable? Sure they are. And I think going into the NCAA tournament, a team like Gonzaga, if they run the table, which they could, they might be in a position to be ranked #1, because now you've got all the postseason tournaments, and certainly Duke or some teams may get beat that are ranked above them.
And Harris with another layup. Remember, this team came in, Gonzaga came in here #3 in the nation field goal percentage, shooting just about 51% for the year today so far, 6 of 8. That's not bad.
No, and we talked about it. They're getting so many great shots because of their length, penetration, ability. Every shot has been relatively easy.
And at the other end, every shot has been contested. Dower knocks that one out of bounds.
Don't forget Dower, who gets this block, doesn't start.
Yeah, that's right.
He comes off the bench, gives Olenek a little bit of a breather, and then they get him back in, and they can take Harris out. They can rotate those 3 guys.
Right.
Pretty good 3 to rotate.
That's the thing I really like about them. And when you talk about the big picture in the NCAA tournament, I really believe they will match up with anybody. I'm not going to say they're going to beat everybody, but they could, because they can match up with anybody.
Again, another block shot. So now the shot clock varies at 1.
So what do you
because of the 2 block, well, what you got to do, in my view, is you almost got to lob it to the top on the out of bounds. So when you're taking the ball out here, lob it someplace in that area, because you're not going to have time to shoot it out here, I don't think.
He shot it, but just missed. Shot clock violation. USF now 2 of 12, and they haven't had a really good look yet.
I think their best look may have been the Cole Dickerson first play of the game, where he had a drive. Even the shot that Cody Dooling made was a difficult shot. So when you start 2 of 12, it's tough. See, Barry, what they're doing inside with the bigs, too, the Dons are trying to front. They don't want the ball to go straight in, so they're trying to play up in front, and Gonzaga's gone over the top on them 2 or 3 different times.
And the thing with Dower and Olenek, the 2 bigs in the lineup now, those guys should step out, easily, both of them. Here's Olenek, thought about it there, got 7 on the shot clock. Now gives it up to Bell. Bell just backs up, throws it up the right hand, scores.
Hello. Goes unnoticed many times, but fantastic guard play by Gonzaga. It's a real key to success. Pangos and Bell, boy, they play well together. They play off each other. They can bring in Stockton as a 3rd guard. They've got a nice rotation going. And, we talked to on WCC this week to Matt Santangelo. I thought he brought up a great point. Of course, Matt was an outstanding guard here in his own right at Gonzaga. But he really felt the depth of this team was unlike any other. There's another
block by Olenek. That's 3. Down low, pass knocked out of bounds. Zags will keep possession. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Substitutions now for USF. See if Olenek got the ball here. Hard to tell.
Yeah, that may actually, the Zags may have dodged a little bullet there. They may have been some contact and no call, but the officials are so used to Gonzaga blocking everything.
Yeah,
they said, well, it must be another block.
That's Barham, steps in, scores.
Yeah, Barham, he's another player coming off that. He had a big 3 against St. Mary's in the second half when the Gales made a run.
That's Dirksen, good movement without the ball. Took a pretty good shot when uncalled as well. Here comes Pangos the other way. Zags 8 of 10, and the Dons just going the opposite way. 13-point ball game. We haven't yet played 8 minutes. There's Olenek. And Olenek to the basket. And there's another one for Gonzaga. He has such great body control. He looks kind of gangly, but terrific body control in the air.
He's got great hands and certainly, as you said, can play inside and out. And that's a big shot by Tollefson. And as we've said many times, I've done a lot of USF games, Barry. This is a 1 player for the Dons that I think can be a real star at San Francisco. I mean, he could shoot outside. He's got to develop his inside game, and I think he's got to work on it, but he's certainly a threat on the perimeter.
There's Olynyk got by Rogers. Now back up top. Stockton trying to force it down to Dower, and a foul from behind. First foul of the game. And we'll take a timeout with 11:46 remaining to be played. It's been all Gonzaga. They lead it 19-7. They're shooting 80%. Anything wrong with that? Fancy about it. It's just good, basic, solid, fundamental basketball.
Well, fundamental, and we talked about Kelly Olynyk and all the things that he brings to the table, Barry. And you watch Olynyk. Now, Olynyk is right in that area. Watch the screen and roll. They're going to rotate the ball and give it to Olynyk. And watch what he does. Okay, you're going to bring it. Now, stop it here. Here comes Olynyk on the screen. He's going to screen in that area. Then he's going to drop down low. Now, you think, well, that's pretty easy to defend. Well, no, it isn't, because he's about 6'11", 7 feet. And then he just rotates on his own. The other thing, you notice what he did, he kind of just moved the defender out because he's so big. So they like to play Olynyk away from the rim, and he creates big-time matchup problems.
All right, so let me tell you, you coached this game for many years. Now, you look at this line for your team, what they've done so far, and I realize we've only played a little over 8 minutes.
That's another dunk, Barry.
Yeah,
so you want to add that to your note?
Can I? So what I was going to say, you look at the line, and your team is 10 of 12 from the field. They have not turned the ball over, and they're holding their opponents to 3 of 15. How good is that?
That's pretty good. That's really good. And the thing is impressive right now about Gonzaga, besides their poise and patience and unselfishness. See, that's what I really love. That high to low is just, you know why they go straight high to low? Because you can't help on the backside. Really difficult. The Dons are funny, so Mark Few's attacking right from the point, and it's really hard to get any help.
Dower got a lot of the ball, but he did get a piece of Dirksen go to the basket, too. Great delivery, though, by Cody Doolin.
Yeah, here's Olynyk. And look at Olynyk, the way he uses his body to just fend the defenders off. I mean, he is powerful. See, that's the thing you don't realize. Okay, he makes outside shots. He's good on the screen and roll. He's very strong also.
Yeah, and I didn't see a foul there. I mean, he used his hands, but he didn't push off.
You can see why all of a sudden his stock has gone up.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you got to like about him, he can beat you so many different ways. He can beat you on the dribble. He can step out and beat you. He can beat you down low on the block. He can post you up. And he's got a good handle. I saw those numbers on him.
I think Rex Walters just trying to see if, let's kind of open it up and press. And that was one of the few times that the lob did not work. And Harris to Olynyk. And in my recollection, Barry, that's the first turnover for Gonzaga. And that was a good job by Dirksen to get in there, and I thought caused a little bit of defensive pressure, which negated that possible score. One turnover. Let's see, we played almost 10 minutes. They got one turnover.
Towson back for an open home for 3. Now, we're waxing poetic about Gonzaga, and with good reason. They're playing that way, but let's go back to the game at BYU when the Dons fell behind. I believe they were behind 19. Came back and won the ball game.
And came back and won by making a ton of threes.
And making a little bit of a run right now.
Yeah, a little 8-2 run so far by San Francisco.
That's Barham open, and he knocks down a 3. If you're going to give it to him, he'll take it. You mentioned that earlier.
Well executed again. And you can't, as Rex Walters said in our pregame interview, you can't guard everybody strong on the outside, and they leave Barham open. Now, he's made, to my recollection, he's 2 of 2.
That might be said about the whole team.
That's true.
Dickerson comes back into the USF lineup, brings Adams with him. Holmes will leave, and Tollefson will leave. Now Cody Doolin back up top, going to back it out here. Waits for Rogers' screen. Give it up in the corner for Dirksen for 3. Now, one thing USF does do well is shoot the three.
Like that, Doolin set it up. Look at Dirksen. He's kind of flying all over the court.
Dan Parker going to come into the ball game for the Dons. Dan?
Here is what they love to do, the Dons. They love to run the screen and roll and get some penetration. So they screen for Cody Doolin. Here's your shooter in the corner, and they screen for him, and then a nice pass in the corner to set it up. But how did that all happen? Well, it's the Cody Doolin penetration, and then Dirksen gets behind the line. Now, obviously, it really is nice when you can deliver the shot. But those are the kind of opportunities, long-range shots that you must make to stay in the game with an elite team like Gonzaga.
This is Szymek Karnowski in the game for the first time. Freshman from Poland, and before he's all done, you know he's going to make a little noise here.
He did already.
Yeah, Stockton missed the runner. Great job by Barham just to pick up the garbage. He's got another open tray. This one's a little short. Harris with the call up.
I think I've seen Harris do that for the last 9 years.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, Elias Harris, he's having some kind of year. I mean, he's just dominating the game on the inside this afternoon.
Here comes Bell. For the Zags so far, 4 dunks, 3 layups, and a tip-in. And that's Karnowski, and he just couldn't get it to go. Very good look, though.
Himself, he's missed a couple of point-blank looks at the rim.
Well, he's a project, but again, he's one of those guys that, you know, by the time, if he stays for his 4 years, he's going to wind up being very productive at Gonzaga. Zhu just kind of threw that up. I'm not sure what that was. Here comes Bell, 2 on 3. Bell with stutter step, now backing up.
Well, they've got Karnowski wide open again, but this time he goes inside. I thought he had a chance, Barry, to turn that in.
Yeah. Quick move by Harris off the baseline. Nothing Dickerson could do about that.
Well, Harris is in another world.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like another level. He's got 10 already in the game. And an easy 10.
Yeah. There's Dickerson, now Zhu, guarded by Karnowski. Talk about an international matchup. Guy from China playing against a guy from Poland.
And a lot of Canadians in the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Germans in the game.
That was Barham who made that play again. Stockton rejected by Parker, but he still got the ball to hit the rim. Dickerson clears for the Dons. USF Doolin on the wing. Adams for 3. Yes!
Wow, that was well executed. Nice transition that time by San Francisco. And, of course, the trigger man again, Cody Doolin.
And this back to a 10-point ball game, so might not want to jump to the food channel right now. Parker,
see if he can finish.
All the way, and a good job by Bell. He went for the ball. Well, we'll take a timeout. The Dons started to creep back into this ball game on a beautiful day in the Bay Area. Temperatures could hit as high as 70 on this winter day. 10-point ball game, Zags. Welcome back. Well, the Zags playing like the number 5 or number 3 team in the country, depending on which poll you read. They lead it by 10, but USF starting to make a little bit of noise. You know that guy, right?
I certainly do. I think he's had some pretty good years, the last 2 out of 3 anyway, for the San Francisco Giants, the general manager, Brian Sabian.
Trying to bring a little bit of karma to the USF Dons. He has a son who goes to USF. That's Brian Sabian taking a day off from spring training activities.
Kind of nice to win the World Series 2 of the last 3, isn't it, Barry?
Not bad, huh? But they're still not favored to win it again.
No,
How do you figure that?
I don't know. Well, because the Dodgers just spent $300 million.
Can't buy a World Series trophy.
No, you can't.
Dan Parker at the free throw line now. Try to get this down to single digits, and does.
Yeah, DN's coming off a great week. West Coast Conference Player of the Week. So, in fact, the Dons have made the comeback, Barry. Their last 4 scores have all been from distance, from 3. And we thought that was a big key for San Francisco. I thought their guard production had to really be a factor in this game. Now, there's a little something going on inside between Dickerson and Olynyk.
And they're going to get Dickerson for that. Dickerson fouled out the last time these two teams played. Dean Parker, coming off his best week as a USF Don, was the West Coast Conference Player of the Week. 23 points on 8 of 11 in that come-from-behind win at BYU. Pangos back in the ballgame. He had a pretty good rest on the bench. Here's Harris. Thought about it for a minute. He had a pretty good look. Now Bell backing out. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Now they really want to feature the down-low presence of Elias Harris. Well, Thompson, he got a piece of that one.
And Harris tried to fight it back. Going to get a reach-in foul, I think, on Parker. And Rex Walters pleading his case that he got all ball.
Not many team fouls in the first half by either basketball club. I mean, it's 3-3.
There's Pangos, open tray, look out. Halfway down, came out. Holmes with a rebound for the Dons, and the Dons again into single digits, could cut this lead to 7 or 6.
Parker's being guarded by Bell. Well, now he's not. They switched that off. I thought he had a little size advantage against Bell, but then all of a sudden it's Elias Harris.
Dickerson had a pretty good look. Harris with the rebound. Harris now outside. And taking to the basket, Tollefson again. 2 good defensive plays by Tollefson. Here come the Dons.
Got to be impressed with Tollefson. Made an outside three. He's got a couple of shot blocks. And he's been a much better cover against Harris than what they had earlier.
And Holmes steps in, leaves for Dickerson. Now back up top to the end, Parker. He steps in, had a good look. Can't get it to go. And the rebound, Dranginis. Harris, kick out Dranginis. They got a lot of guys who could shoot in the ballgame right now due to Zags. All 5 of these guys very capable of scoring. This is Dranginis. Kelly Olynyk at the free throw line just faces up and scores. That's much too easy.
Well, they love to give the ball to Olynyk at the foul line. His option is to drop it down to Harris if he's open. If he's not, you know, Olynyk at 7 feet, not too much problem shooting the ball from him. And he's got a nice touch.
He's 5 for 5 in the ball game. I guess
that's good. Well, he and Harris haven't missed many shots.
Dickerson knocks down a 3, and that's going to keep the Dons in the fray here.
Well, San Francisco's made a ton of threes. That's kept them in the game the first half.
Pangos just yo-yos the dribble. Now Olynyk on the high post. Down low to Harris. Harris draws a crowd, can't get it to go. Don's doubling up down low now when they do touch. Here's Parker. Parker end-to-end with a basket and one.
Boy, how do you like Dean Parker? Coming off a great win, or great week rather, and Dean Parker playing terrific. And he's the one guy that Dons have, I think, can create his own shot without any difficulty. And here's Dean Parker with a power move down the middle and a good job to get the ball. He knew the foul was coming, and he just hoped and got it up on the glass and got the roll.
Well, they had been living and dying on the 3.
Yeah, this was their first 2-point score in the last 13 and a half minutes. How do you like that?
Has the game been going that long?
Wow. Now that's hard to believe.
So Mark Few has seen a good-sized lead drop down now to 5. And a 21-11 run over the last 8 minutes for the hometown Dons.
Got to give a little help here as Pangos gets some penetration.
Michael Hart back in the lineup. He's a kind of a steadying force for the Zags. Now Pangos. Dons have really stepped it up on both ends. Pangos for 3. Tough shot, but he makes that shot a lot. Now the Dons with a real opportunity. Pangos is 0 for 3.
I think reset your formation and have some poise here. Now look at this. You've got Olynyk, who at 7 feet is on the perimeter defending.
Hard to shoot over him.
Well, it certainly is, but you might have a kind of a mismatch right down in here if you can find a guy, but you can't.
Now it's 2-on-1. Pangos on the wing. That's Hart to the basket.
You love what Pangos did. He kind of veered off to his left there and created the space to give it to Hart for the easy score.
Tollefson for three, not this time. And a rebound, Pangos. And now the Zags a chance to back up baskets here. Down low, gonna get a foul on Olynyk. And Parker and Olynyk kind of whooping at each other here. And I'm sure the officials will take a close look at that. Here it is again. All the way to the basket for Deanne Parker, and one. 7-point game. We'll be back. Well, West Coast Conference fans can get up-to-the-minute news, videos, and championship information by logging on to the official West Coast Conference website at WCCSports.com. Find exclusive conference gear and follow where your school stands in the latest Commissioner's Cup standings by bookmarking WCCSports.com. Here a 7-point game when it looked like the Zags were going to run away and hide from the Dons, but Dons have had a penchant for doing that. They just kind of hang around and usually have at least one good run in them during the course of a game.
Well, they've got 5 threes in the game. They've only made 8 field goals, and 5 of them have been 3-point opportunities. And how fitting it would be if San Francisco could play well on Phil Smith Day. They're honoring the great, great Phil Smith, who passed away much too early, but he was an outstanding guard here at San Francisco in the 70s. And it's Phil Smith Day here on the Hilltop.
He played for a good friend of mine.
Yes, he did. Oh, that guy.
From the corner, Barham for 3. Not this time, but Hart fights for the rebound. That's the kind of stuff he does for you. Olynyk open for 3. Look out. Can't get it off the right side. And finally, it's knocked off the hands of Hart, not a bounds. So coming up empty once again of the Zags 3 times in a row now. Kelly Olynyk so far today, 10 points on 5 of 5. He's doing his part. 3 rebounds. Olynyk, though, really as advertised.
And the other thing that really goes unnoticed many times is his ability to defend on the outside. He's a big guy, got quick feet. He can come out and, if it's a smaller player, he can do a pretty good job on him on the perimeter.
Now they switch up. Doolin looks for a mismatch, doesn't get it as Dower drops back, though, on Rogers, and Rogers double dribbled. 5th USF turnover.
That's just the presence of Dower defending Rogers. As Rogers is thinking, Dower's a shot blocker, so I've got to come up with a special move. And, he makes one of those unforced errors, and the kind you can no afford to make against Gonzaga. You've got to get shot attempts every time down.
See the turnover numbers, only 2 for the Zags, 5 for USF, not an inordinate number.
I thought a big key for Gonzaga coming into this game was, 12 or less turnovers, and they're certainly on pace to do that.
And again, that's just a big man making a big man's move. I mean, there's no great script for that.
Well, you could drop a guy from the outside to come down to help, but then you leave Pangos or Bell wide open. Well, there's Doolin again. The Dons have come up with some acrobatic, take it to the rim, double clutch scores to keep themselves in this game. Look at Cody Doolin. And he does this as well as anybody. He's a 3-year starter here at USF and an outstanding young guy. May have aspirations, Barry, to be a coach, and I think he'd be a very good one. Just has a good feel for the game of basketball and makes a difficult shot under duress.
A real student of the game. Olynyk yanks down the missed free throw. Now Pangos. And a block. Very close. They say Tollefson moved the feet.
It's only the 4th team foul against San Francisco. That's a good play by Tollefson. Why not take an opportunity to see if you can get the call? That's a good, looks like he was moving just a little bit. Well, a split second earlier, if he moves his feet, I think he'd get that call.
Here's Hart. They don't come out and guard Hart. Now Dower. Dower's been very quiet on the offensive end.
Looks like Doolin, who's not guarding Hart's trying to wild card inside. Just get off your guy and see if you can help out.
Here's Dower working on Dickerson. Turn to the basket too hard. And we're going to get get a foul over the top. They may get an Olynyk.
I think it is Olynyk over the top.
And Olynyk will get the last minute and 1 second of the half off as Karnowski comes back onto the floor.
It's interesting that Mark Few, when he found Karnowski, you know, in the recruiting wars, he's really looking at Pangos, and the assistant for Gonzaga, Tommy Lloyd, is looking at Pangos in a Canadian tournament, and there's Karnowski who's playing against him, and there's Karnowski playing. And he kind of thought, well, you know what? Here's another guy that might be able to help us, and that's how they first saw Karnowski, and you know, here he is.
Interestingly enough, Harris was just on fire early in the game. And then Rex Walters brought Tollefson into the game, and Tollefson's now defending him. And since that time, Harris is 0 for 3.
And he's had a couple of shots blocked by Tollefson inside.
Trying to post up Tollefson right now. And that's Karnowski with a good look, but he comes up short. And the rebound batted around, comes down into the hands of Hart, a reach-in foul.
Well, you see, Barry, how every defensive rebound is a struggle for San Francisco. They've got to get all 5 guys in there to rebound the ball. If that's Tollefson, it's his 3rd. So now he stays in the game with the 3 fouls, but at least he's been a guy that's been competitive on the glass. So now let's see if they go to Karnowski with Tollefson with 3.
Karnowski on the baseline now.
Now, San Francisco's got fouls to take as the shot clock's winding down. They can definitely get aggressive and take a foul.
And Mark Few wants a timeout. Not happy with how Pangos was handling the ball, and comes out, meets him right at about the center line. Mark Few, very quiet guy and just a really good guy, but you don't want him on your wrong side.
There's Tollefson earlier in the game when he makes a nice 3 from the outside. And here's Doolin, who really sets everybody up. I mean, he finds guys on the perimeter. And with his penetration, you know, Adams made that shot, but Cody Doolin, it's really tough for San Francisco to take Doolin out of the game because he's the one that runs the show. You see Orlando Smart, Gerald Walker, 2 terrific guards that played here, and there's Doolin in terms of career assists. Of course, Orlando Smart at 902. I think he's safe. I think he's safe. That record is not going to be broken.
But Doolin, as you said, since day one, since he walked onto the campus, has been the starter. And you heard the guys in the studio talk about what a gym rat he is. We've been saying that now for 3 years, and that's exactly what he is.
And you know, Barry, I thought it was kind of cool what he said in WCC this week when they interviewed him. And I know you had a chance to talk to him earlier. He thought it was kind of nice coming in the gym all by himself at night and thinking, you know what? There's been a lot of great players that have played on this floor. It's Phil Smith Day, you know, and Phil is one of them. But, I mean, you think the last #1 team in the country that was a West Coast Conference team was the San Francisco team back in 77, 78 when, you know, you had Hardy and Boynes and Cartwright, Chubby Cox and Marlon Redmond.
As I recall, they were undefeated up to the last game of the season.
Yes, they were. Going into Notre Dame. Yeah, that's true. But still, Gonzaga has a chance to come up as again the #1 team in the country, and there's the shot of Phil Smith. Now, Phil didn't play with Cartwright. Phil played earlier, and Phil kind of laid the groundwork when he played with the late Kevin Rustani, you know, and Eric Fernston, and, you know, the great guard combination of Mike Quick and Phil Smith, which I still think is one of the better guard combinations ever to play at San Francisco, maybe still the best. And that was a pivotal reason why, you know, that team was so successful. That was the Bob Gaylord team, and of course Bob did an unbelievable job here at San Francisco, led them to #1 in the country, and I just kind of tagged along and was around. And there's Phil. Now, Phil played at your alma mater. Phil played at Washington High School. He was a high school center, and quite frankly was not highly recruited coming out of high school, but Phil immediately adapted when he got to USF, and in those years he played on the freshman team, and he and Rustani were on that freshman team, and as soon as he came as a sophomore, I mean, he was an all-conference player for 3 years. And by the way, his rookie year with the Golden State Warriors, they did win the NBA championship with the Rick Barry team. And he did get 50 twice in his rookie year. So, yeah, he's a pretty good player.
He can shoot it.
Yes, he is.
Three-time all-conference selection in the West Coast Conference. You see his career points, 9th most in school history. And, of course, there's a great legacy here at USF. He retired. You saw that shot just a couple of moments ago. And he's on that wall of honor here at USF with some pretty select names. Bill Russell, Mike Farmer, Ollie Matson, Pete Rozelle.
Wasn't Ed Brown or, you know, I mean, they had a lot of great. People don't realize what a wonderful football program that the Dons had way back, you know, in 1950. But that's a nice select. And, you know, Farmer was a tremendous player at Richmond High School in the Bay Area. So the officials are coming over and they're talking to Barry right now that they may have went to a monitor. And Barry, what's the latest?
Well, they had said that there was one of the coaches thought, I believe it was Mark Few, thought that there was a flagrant foul against one of the USF players, and there wasn't, so Gonzaga's charged with a timeout.
Now the Dons have a foul to take here. They only got 5-team, Barry. They could take if you take a foul, you might negate a shot. Now I think that's a good foul. Okay, so now you take the ball out of bounds because it looked like Gonzaga was in great position there to get a shot.
With 4 seconds remaining. Now,
that's
that
right.
Is more than enough time.
No, I understand, but at least you make them reset. Now they still may score, but it's got to have to be a one-on-one individual move.
Which it was by Harris, who carried the ball for about a yard and a half. So, I wasn't going to count that anyway, even if the officials did.
Hey, that was a great foul. The guy took a great foul. That was a good foul. Good strategic move.
Well, this was a 15-point game at 19-4 at one point, but now the Dons have it down 7 at the half, 34-27. Last time these two teams hooked up, Gonzaga led by 22 at the half. So the Dons doing a little bit better. We're coming back. To the basket. And goes. Lee for Olynyk to the basket. USF Doolin on the wing. Adams for 3. Yes!
We are at halftime in the Bay Area right now. Gonzaga leading it 34-27. Welcome back to the Ford Sports Desk. Andrew Mentink back here with you later today on Root Sports. Craig Robinson and Oregon State travel north to face Washington in Seattle. The Huskies are We're in San Francisco and ready for the second half. Zags trying to stay perfect in the WCC. We rejoin Barry Tompkins with the call.
There's a play coming right out of the half. Down low to Dickerson for the finish. And it's a 5-point ball game. Just the start the Dons want. There's a push in the back by Christensen. A foul.
The way San Francisco started the first half was Cole Dickerson coming off a screen. He comes right back. Well, this is as close as it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
34-29. And
I'll give you a wouldas and couldas and shouldas. The last time we said Gonzaga led by 12 at the half. In the second half of the first game, USF outscored them by 8. And so if they do that this time, it was a 7-point game at the half. Guess what? There's a woulda, coulda, shoulda.
And Mark Few said it many times. We've got to complete the deal and win on this floor. We have not won here in 3 years.
Christensen called for another foul. Here are the keys to the game that we talked about. And Gonzaga is getting to front court scoring. There's no question about it. The only two guys in double figures.
And we talked about guard production, and it's happened in terms of handling the ball. And rebound toughness has really gone, I think, to Gonzaga. I think the Dons have to be really competitive and rebound all 5 players if they got any shot to stay in this game.
I think they're trying to get a little tougher down on the block, but Christensen has been whistled for 2 quick fouls here at the start of the second half.
And no question, Barry, Pangos has to get going.
Up high, and that's Christensen's 3rd foul in the space of 48 seconds.
Well, what did we talk about at halftime? Gonzaga did not shoot a free throw in the first half. 0 free throws. Well, now we haven't even played a minute, and that's already the 3rd team foul on the Dons. And don't forget, Gonzaga on the year has made more free throws than their opponents have attempted. So you know this is a team that shoots multiple free throws.
Olynyk misses, gets it back, and puts it in. Man with boys.
Never brings the ball down. It's the other thing I really love about Olynyk.
This is Parker. Parker relatively quiet in the first half. Skip pass for Doolin. He drives and finishes. He's just a good all-around player, Cody Doolin. Olynyk looking down to Harris. Harris trying to post Dickerson. Now Hart.
I think they want to go right here, Barry. They're trying to go inside either to a Harris or to Olynyk. And the Dons are still trying to play in front. But they're playing much more aggressive than they did to start the game.
They got a chance to cut this lead down to 3 or even 2. That's Adams. Won't go, and the rebound Harris. Harris, incidentally, now the 2nd leading rebounder in Gonzaga history. Jerry Vermillion is number 1.
Well, that's going way back. Vermillion.
Back to the 50s.
Yeah, you bet. Well, the other great player in Gonzaga history not many people know about, and he passed away, is Frank Burgess, who was an unbelievable player at Gonzaga. And, of course, yeah, I think he was a Superior Court judge, and he passed a couple of years ago. But it's a name out of the past, but he was certainly one of the greats ever to play at Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah, they were the old-timers in Spokane, remember. But this is a whole new era and really a whole new dynasty for the Zags. And this may be the best team they've had amongst a host of good teams.
Gonzaga substitution, number 43, Drew Barlow reports in. He replaces Michael Hart.
There you see Harris with 8 rebounds today, moving him into the number 2 spot, but he's missed 5 shots in a row, interestingly enough, after making his first 5. There's Cody Doolin, got behind a screen, and he'll go to the free throw line. You know, there's nothing flashy about Doolin, but he's just sort of workmanlike, but he just gets it done.
Well, they run the high screen and roll for Cody Doolin, and it looks like to me that Christensen is open inside, but, you know, he's a young guy, and he's not really 100% sure of himself against a bigger, stronger Gonzaga team. And Cody Doolin's just taking it on his own. Because I think Cody feels, if I don't make it, I'll draw the foul. And what the great players do is they want to take the game in their own hands. You know, I think that's what Doolin's doing. He's saying, you know, if we got any chance, I need to come up super big in the second half.
Well, he gets 1 out of 2 at the free throw line, and it's going to be out of bounds 2. Gonzaga. 4-point ball game. That's as close as the Dons have been almost from the get-go. Here's Pangos. Pangos still looking for his first point of the ball game. Drops it down for Olynyk and a foul from behind. Christensen, you almost have to feel sorry for him. 4 fouls here in the first 2 minutes and 52 seconds in the second half.
Well, let's put it this way. I think if you're Rex Walters, between Ju and Christensen, you've got 10 fouls to take in the middle. Now, the only difficulty with that is Gonzaga's going to be at the foul line soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and they shoot it pretty well at the free throw line.
But what that is negating for Gonzaga is those easy turnaround scores that they got in the first half. So San Francisco playing a little bit more aggressive. Here again is the area that I'd probably going to be another foul call here soon.
Could be. Harris this time all the way to the basket and 1. That was a tough shot.
Well, it's a man's game inside. And in the era of the three-point line, it's, in my opinion, refreshing to see teams going to old school basketball. That is powering the ball inside and trying to score inside to out. So as soon as you start helping in there, that's when Pangos and Bell and their perimeter guys will get involved.
All the way the other way, De'Aaron Parker and a foul.
Look at De'Aaron Parker. Wow, was that a powerhouse move? How do you like it? What a move.
And Pangos has got, or rather, I beg your pardon, not Pangos, but Barham has a bit of a headache here. He went down hard.
Well, Barham wants to call, and Barham did hit his head hard. Now, did Barham get there? Well, that was very close. Now, they could have called out a charge and a no score.
Called foul on Pangos, though, and not on Barham.
Maybe it was Pangos before Barham got there, because quite frankly, I thought Barham got there in time.
Parker converts the three-point play, and the last time it was a three-point game was when the score was 7-4. Now 38-35, and we got a long way to go.
And maybe DeAnn Parker, on the perimeter, his defense, now he's guarding Stockton. When he guarded Pangos, that might have been bothering him a little bit in the steal. Well, what is going on here? What is happening on the hilltop?
Dickerson overplayed Olynyk that time. Doolin along the baseline tried to kick it out for Adams for a three. It was knocked out of bounds. USF maintains possession, 25 seconds on the shot clock.
White.
Dickerson trying to face up Bell. He's got a size advantage. And Olynyk just took it away from him. Here comes Stockton. Stockton to Harris, but a foul called before. And USF racking up fouls in a hurry here.
Actually, it's a good strategic foul by DeAnn Parker, because it would have been a score for Gonzaga in the open court. But as you said, now we've played not even 4 minutes of the second half, and that is the 6th team foul. So Gonzaga, who didn't shoot a free throw in the first half, they're going to make that up in the second half, big time.
Olynyk, the lob for Harrison, hit the side of the basket. So the Dons catch a break there, because that was going to be an easy deuce.
Well, look at Jubear. He is all alone under the basket.
And we got a foul, 3-second call. So the Dons having a little trouble down on the post. 4 fouls on Christensen. Jew causes a turnover. 15:44 left. 3-point game. 38-35. Zags.
Ew.
Exceed. Internet so fast it must be from outer space.
We welcome you back. It is a 3-point ball game. Gonzaga over USF. The 2013 West Coast Conference men's and women's basketball championships are coming back to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. They take place March 6th through the 11th. 9 men's, 9 women's teams competing for their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Visit WCCSports.com today for complete event information.
Well, Barry, we talked about how open Tao Zhu was after he sets the screen. Watch Zhu when he goes into the lane. Watch how long he is in there. Okay, here's the screen. Now here comes Tao. Stop it here. Okay, there's Tao right there. Check how long he's in there. Now he is wide open. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Been in there already. 2, 3, 4. He's in there a while. And he's still in there, and the official says, look, I don't want to call 3 seconds, but when you're there at 10, we got to call it. The Dons got to look for him. I thought Christensen was wide open a few times. Zhu is there. I think Rex Walters may be telling his guys, look, if he's wide open, he's going to make a layup. Let's give the big guy the ball.
Well, the Dons continue to hang around here. They've made 6 fouls in this half. They turned the ball over a couple times carelessly, and yet they're still only down 3.
Well, I think if you told Rex Walters, hey, here's the thing, there's 15:44 to go in the game and you're down 3. Do you want to start playing right now? He'd say, yes, that'd be just fine. Now, Gonzaga, we know, is they're a tremendous second half team, too. Now, what did they do against St. Mary's? The Gales were, on my recollection, were ahead by 1 at halftime. And Mark Few's team just put a blitz on them in the second half. So, yeah, everything's going to have to go right for San Francisco.
Well, we talked about USF finding the right combination of guys. I think Mark Few, to a certain extent, is doing that also. Here's Bell with the ball right now. He's got 5 points today, and they all came early in the ball game. He had 20 against St. Mary's, and his backcourt mate Pangos had 18 against St. Mary's. He's on the bench scoreless today, so that's 38 points, actually 33 points, missing from the Zags' arsenal.
I think one of the reasons, and here's Stockton in the corner and shot clock winding down.
Here's Bell. Won't go too hard. And Dirksen with a rebound, and the Dons can get this even closer. Dickerson ahead of everybody, leaves now for Adams. The Dons will reset. They looked low that time. Dirksen from the corner puts it on the floor, takes it hard to the basket. Olenek just took it away. You talked about his hands. He has very quick and very good hands. There's Olenek again over Zhu. Got the roll.
Not only quick hands, but he's got such a soft touch on the ball. I thought he had missed that shot, but he puts it up there so nicely and effortlessly that he gets the roll. And the Dons have not had a shot attempt the last couple of times down, so they've got to work hard. And it's tough with Cody Doolin out of the lineup. I'm telling you, usually things don't go real well when Doolin's on the bench.
Dickerson for three,
there
knocks it down.
That really helped.
And it is a 2-point lead for Gonzaga. Dickerson with 10. He was scoreless in the first game between these two. That's Barham from the corner. It won't go. Olenek right there for the rebound. Nope. Nobody blocked out. Bell for three. It's short. And Adams finally comes out of there, and USF a chance to tie or take the lead.
Yeah, Adams is dangerous shooting the three right here. He's a dangerous shooter.
Comes up short that time, no, but it's a take two. Dirksen for three. He can shoot it, but misses. And a rebound to Bell. Real opportunity right there for the Dons.
I think a quick timeout. Mark, you don't like the way it's going. And San Francisco, this place would have went bananas if one of those threes would have gone in.
Absolutely. 13:32 left. Don't go anywhere. It's a 2-point ball game. We're coming back right after this.
Get ready.
March Madness is coming to San Jose as 8 of the top teams in the country compete for a trip to the Sweet 16. You can experience it live at the 2013 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Tournament, March 21st and the 23rd at the HP Pavilion in San Jose. Dower in the ball game now. He too has been very quiet on the offensive end. 14 on the shot clock for the Zags. Bell drives, scores, and one.
Big-time shot by Gary Bell Jr. It was an opportunity for San Francisco, I thought, to kind of help out and draw a charge here. Bell had a mindset of going all the way to the rim. And I think, you know, if you're in that position, you've got to make a play to come over there and get good position and try to draw the foul. It didn't happen. I thought Holmes maybe had a little window of opportunity to move his feet and draw a charge. Looked like Bell had it predetermined. That's what he was going to do, but a big score.
And at the line to convert a three-point play, doesn't do it. Goes halfway down, comes out, Tollefson the rebound. So a 4-point game. Doolin back in the game for the Dons. He can't spend too much time on the bench. He's a catalyst. Down low, Rogers tried to get under. Dower leaves for Doolin to the basket.
Play without the ball. Nice pass by Rogers. Rogers really had nowhere to go, but Doolin opportunistic, moving, and found a little bit of a lane.
Back to a 2-point ball game. Barham has it knocked out of bounds by Doolin. Well, I think they're going to get a whistle on Doolin, and they are.
Well, it's either Doolin or Tollefson.
It might be Tollefson if it is his fourth.
Yeah, and Tollefson was trying to guard Elias Harris. Now here we go with Gonzaga going to the foul line, and they're going to, if they win this game, they're going to win it at the line.
So Harris at the free throw line, still only 2 team fouls on Gonzaga.
Well, San Francisco, they're trying to play Olenek and Harris really tough, but you know, there's definitely contact in there. It's a question of whether the officials are going to blow the whistle a lot. And if they do, I think it's going to really benefit the Zags, and because there's all kind of, you can't let Harris and Olenek just receive the ball right near the rim because they're going to score every time. Now, Harris, 77% free throw shooter. Olenek's about an 80% free throw shooter.
And Harris gets 1 out of 2. And it's going to be out of bounds to USF. The Zags have only made 1 free throw tonight. But you have an idea they're going to shoot a lot more.
I think with Deanne Parker coming back, really the 3 guys that have been scoring are Doolin, Parker, and Dickerson. So you get Deanne back in the game and see if he can't try to create and make something happen.
Those 3 have scored the last 22 points for USF. Here's Doolin, puts it on the floor, leaves it for Rogers for 3. That's a shot you won't see him take very much. Here comes Pangos ahead to Dower to the basket, and a foul on Rogers. That was not a bad foul.
And remember, in college basketball, Barry, there is no such thing as an intentional foul. There's no intentionals anymore. So guys say, well, not playing the ball. Look, they've wiped that out. It's either flagrant 1, flagrant 2. So, you know, on a flagrant 1, is it excessive? And that's what the officials got to look at, like, you know, an elbow to the face. Or is it a flagrant 2, you know, which is a severe penalty and extreme, like a fight, obviously, or you take a shot and throw somebody down, which you're out of the game. So a lot of people say, well, gee, that was there is no intentionals. You got to get off that.
Dower got the first free throw. Left hand's the second one up, and it's pure. And it's back to a 5-point lead for Gonzaga. Dickerson thought about taking that shot. Now Parker, he brings Bell out with him. You got to guard him out here. Parker puts it on the floor, all the way to the basket. Offensive foul. Great job by Pangos.
Yeah, great move. And let's face it, San Francisco does not have much inside presence. So good move by Gonzaga to move their feet. Pangos draws the charge.
So the Dons got it to 2. They trail by 5. When we come back, Gonzaga will have the ball. We welcome you back. It is a 5-point ball game. The Zags leading the Dons 45-40. They come off an emotional win at St. Mary's. Tough place to play, and really the game of the year, at least in theory, in the conference.
And they play great in the second half. And here's Olynyk with a power move all the way to the rim. So, and that's what Gonzaga brings to the table. Gary Bell, and you said it earlier, I mean, Bell and Pangos had an unbelievable game. Pangos and Bell combined for about 40, and it was a terrific second half. And a big win. You know, that's huge because it solidifies their spot, Gonzaga, as the best team in the conference. So, but they come in here and in a place where they haven't won in 3 years. And Mark Few saying, you know, what's it going to take to win a game on this floor? And they got off to a great start. But high props for the Dons. They hung in there. They came right back. Now with Olynyk sitting on the bench, it may be a little opportunity. And I say small, because Gonzaga's got depth for San Francisco to kind of close the gap.
Well, they do. The Dons have had several opportunities. They've had 4 shots to either tie the game or take the lead here in the second half, but the Zags have shut them down every time. That's going to be a travel.
Good move by Rex Walters and the Dons. They go full court press. They haven't shown it a lot coming out of the timeout. Disruptive, and to show Gonzaga a new look. And they do a very nice job to get the turnover and stay in it. So these are the little things you have to do to kind of change the tempo of the game and allow the Dons an opportunity. So that was a great move by Walters to get his team in that full court press, and it resulted in a turnover.
So Cody Doolin again gives it up to D.N. Parker. Now Doolin up top again. They're going to jump out and guard all these guys on the perimeter. Skip pass this time for Dirksen. He brings Barham with him, puts it on the floor to the basket, and did a good job to draw the foul.
Well, I thought your point was well taken. They're going to guard all the USF perimeter guys because the Dons don't have back to the basket players and people that have that kind of presence. So if you're playing USF, what do? Well, you better jump out on Doolin and Parker and Dickerson, because that's your opportunity to stop them. If you let them shoot wide open shots, then you might be in trouble playing against San Francisco.
Dirksen makes the first and gets them both back to a 3-point game. Now Adams back into the USF lineup, and Dirksen will take a seat, the freshman. I think Rogers has given Don some productive minutes too. To be sure, he's a work in progress, but
well, you'd like to see him get a little bit of confidence and get a score down. But he is quick. He's a good jumper. He's active. And as a player, nothing feels better than to get a big score in a critical situation against a nationally ranked team. It just gets you revved up.
There's Bell, little pump fake. Adams doesn't go for it. Got 9 on the shot clock. They jump out on Bell, and Bell drives to the basket, tries to drop it down for Harris, and Harris just let it kind of fall off his hands. So a turnover, and the Dons again in a situation where they could get within a point or tie. Holmes comes into the ballgame. Parker leaves for the Dons. Parker's playing with a lot more confidence.
Well, he started the year playing brilliantly. Got off the blocks well, and then he went into a little bit of a lull, but he's back. West Coast Conference Player of the Year, Player of the Week rather, last week. So Deanne Parker's given the Dons, he's given them terrific defense. You know, he's the one that started on Pangos, and I think did a real good job on him in this game.
There's Doolin, skip pass for Dickerson. Dickerson over Olynyk, scores for three. Tie game, first tie of the ball game. And they're into it here on the Hilltop. Olynyk the other way, Doolin takes it away. 3-on-1 for the Dons. Doolin on the wing, wide open, Adams short. Now Pangos the other way for Gonzaga into the corner. Barham had a look, but passed it up. Doolin right in his pocket. Now Olynyk on the high post, facing up on Rogers. Pangos moving without the ball. Couldn't get it to fall, but he will go to the free throw line. Calling on Cole Dickerson, his third personal foul.
Yeah, Barry, this is a great pass by Olynyk when he gets the ball at the top of the key. So we're going to have, let's just move it forward a little bit more. So we're going to move it forward. Watch when Olynyk gets, okay, stop it here. Here we go, Olynyk with the ball. Vision that way, man goes this way. You got to have vision both on your man and the ball. Watch Olynyk kind of set it up with that nice little bump fake, and I thought the defender was a little bit late. But Olynyk, you know, can he play away from the basket? Yes. Is he a very good passer? Absolutely. And that was just good team play by Gonzaga to kind of get everything back in order again. But the Dons had a chance to take the lead with that three in the corner.
Now 8 free throws after not having any at the intermission. And Pangos very good at the free throw line. Knocks them both down. And it's back to a 2-point ball game. Cody Doolin's going to come out of the game, and Parker's going to come back in. I suspect that won't be for too long.
Well, this puts a lot of pressure on Avery Holmes with the ball right here, number 12. So he's the one that's going to have to run the show. He can do it, but with Doolin out, which is doesn't happen very often, it's really essential for San Francisco to be strong here. That's a good no call. That was a flop. That's a good no call. Wasn't that much contact. And there's Rogers, by the way.
Pick and roll, doing his job. Rogers, when he can stay out of foul trouble, which he's in the process of mugging down.
Watch that action.
And now he gets a foul. It was almost like he was asking for a foul. Watch the action before.
Well, here's what's going on under the rim. Dower and Rogers. Now, to me, Barry, there's a little... I thought this was a non-contact sport, basketball.
Yeah.
That's not true.
When was that true?
That's not true.
That was true when we played. That's because we avoided it at all possible
Because everybody zoned. Yes. It was typical zones.
Stand out there, shoot set shots.
That's right. Well, I said it earlier, and I know it's going to come to fruition. If Gonzaga's going to win this game, they'll win it at the line. They didn't shoot a free throw in the first half, but they will shoot a ton of them in the second half. And that's unusual for Pangos in this one. Double bonus already.
But the Zags only 5 of 9 at the free throw line, so not really taking full advantage. Second by Pangos is good. 1-point ball game. Dons now chance to take the lead.
And Rex Walter saying, okay, keep your poise. Doolin standing up with a towel out of his mouth on the bench. Yeah. He said, can I get in the game, please?
Good job by Holmes, just backed up. He had a good look, just couldn't get it to fall. And rebound down to Hart. Mark Few going with experienced guys on the floor right now.
And Olynyk is, I mean, here's your mismatch way down here in the corner. Olynyk's being guarded by Dickerson. He's got about 4-inch size advantage.
There's Olynyk outside, comes behind a Hart screen to the basket, finger roll.
God, he makes it look easy.
Yeah, he does.
You know, that is a big-time move. People say, well, gee, that wasn't hard. That is really hard. For a 7-foot guy to make that kind of a play is incredible.
Back to a three-point ball game, and the Zags have not been headed up yet in this game.
Well, all the Euros sure play well away from the rim. You know, and Olynyk, you know, not any exception to that rule.
There's Adams to the basket, leaves for Holmes. Holmes drives on Pangos, step back, and score.
Well, you love the way Holmes is playing. He knows that he is the guy that's got to handle and make plays with Doolin out, and he has really come up big.
Harris to the basket, trying to lead for Olynyk, and Bell runs it down. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Pangos going to back it out, reset the offense.
It's a physical game.
It really is. And the officials doing a really good job letting him play. Loose ball picked up, got a shooter with 5 on the shot clock and score.
Big shot for Pangos.
First field goal.
Yeah, big confidence, Jay, for him. Good to see that happen. He had a big game at St. Mary's. He's missed some wide open. I love the fact that he's still shooting. Continue to look at the rim. You're a guy that's got to score and be productive on the perimeter.
So a 4-point lead now for the Zags. See if USF has an answer. Tollefson down low, got a man behind him and drew the foul. He came back underneath and drew the foul on Olynyk, and he'll go to the line.
Well, how do you like Mark Tollefson? I didn't know what he was going to come up with that move, and he kind of reversed it up on the glass. I love that play.
Well, you've been his champion since he walked on the floor.
I think the guy's got talent. He's got to develop his inside game, and he makes a sensational move right there.
I would call that developed. We're coming back.
We went to the NCAA championship every year, so
I know that, and then got UCLA in the first round.
It's true. they were good.
Well, I think it's interesting, and you've talked about this a lot, but at that time, it was still regional, right?
That's right.
So those are the two best teams on the West Coast. They met each other in the first round of the tournament.
Well, in those years, too, you got automatic buys into the tournament. So, you know, the tournament was not 68 teams in those years. It was like 24 teams. So if you win one game, you got a good shot of going far in the NCAA tournament.
One of those guys just acknowledging you, waving at you a minute ago, Mike Quick. I know a guy that you really care about a lot. One of the great guards you talked about, Phil Smith.
Yeah, he played with Phil, and Quick was a great defender and a guy that could really shoot the long range shot. Didn't have the three-point shot then, but he would have really benefited by it. So there was a lot of guys that. Nice to see everybody coming back. Snake Jones was a tremendous player here.
Yeah, he was.
You know, they got Snake Jones, and he was an all-conference player back in the 70s. He was terrific at about 6'9".
Meantime, a 2-point ball game, and here's the reason why.
Well, here's the super play by Tollefson, and you know that's what I like about his game. You know, he's an outside guy, but he's developing inside, and if he works on this, this is a terrific shot. It's a foul on Olynyk, and if it's on Olynyk, it's his third. So that's a big call, and now Tollefson will get to the line with an opportunity to close this to 1.
And he does. So a 1-point ball game, a world of time remaining. Don showing full court pressure here. Parker just kind of being a pest with Bell as he brings it across the timeline. Parker, good defender.
Oh, he's a very good defender, and don't forget, early in the game he was on Pangos, and now he's one of the reasons why the backcourt of Gonzaga really has not been super productive in this game, like they were on Thursday night at St. Mary's.
There's Olynyk, open 3. Won't go, and rebound run down by Barham for Olynyk. Nice play by Barham, just kind of knowing where his teammate was. Now Harris. Kick it out for Bell.
I'm surprised Harris kicked it out. The guy guarding him's got 4 fouls, Barry. I mean, if you're Gonzaga, you want to get Tollefson out of the game. Tollefson's got 4.
Harris lost the handle and then put the shot up. Loose ball right down to Harris, who's sitting on the floor.
Now, how do you get that rebound? By sitting on the floor.
That's why it's the second leading rebounder.
That's
of all
it.
time.
There's got to be a reason.
Here's Olynyk going to the basket, double team, still gets it in.
And a great no call. Not much going on there. I love the officials not making that call.
So the Dons, we'll see again if they have an answer. Olynyk now with 20 in the ball game. He's earned every one of them. Tollefson, they leave him, he takes it, but he can't get it. And Olynyk with a rebound. Gonzaga can tend to use a little clock. It's the other thing you like about this team. They can play any tempo you want. Harris to the basket.
Nice move by Elias Harris, but what's happening is that San Francisco is losing vision. Nobody saw Harris take it all the way to the rim, and in college basketball, you got to step in the way.
Holmes misses a long tray, and a rebound run down by Pangos.
Got to look out now if you're San Francisco. Gonzaga in a little bit of a rhythm.
Taking a little air out of the ball here. Pangos being very patient. He's just a sophomore, plays beyond his years.
Well, here's where they want to go. If they can. Well, that's a power move.
Harris again, the follow missing by Barham, but Barham gets it back. Almost put it in, but he will go to the free throw line. They got some toughness, this team.
Well, they definitely has toughness, but here you see Elias Harris. Now, someone has to help out here. You got to have a little bit of rotation, but he had no trouble taking this all the way to the rim and going right by guys. And you've got to overplay him a little bit on his right, especially if you're Rodgers. Force him to go left.
And Olynyk bodied Tollefson out of the way. Now Dickerson, Dirksen, and Adams back into the USF lineup. Holmes, Rodgers, and Parker leave. And this is now back to a 6-point game, just under 5 minutes remaining. Barham gets them both. 6 straight now by Gonzaga since that Tollefson 3-point play. That cut the lead to 1, so now a 7-point difference. Big possession right here, I think, for the Dons.
Well, it's a possession that you've got to be productive here. It's really important. The Dons have gone empty the last 2 or 3 times down the floor. Well, you see that free throw story. No free throws made in the first half by Gonzaga. Good defense. Great job there by Hart to really not allow Cole Dickerson to get the ball. So that's what, at least 4 possessions in a row that San Francisco hasn't got a shot on.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes since the Dons have scored, and now the Zags have it all over again. And that's one of those things. We talked about Hart as just being one of those guys doesn't show up in the scoring columns, or rebounding, or any statistical category. He just gets the job done. He does all the dirty work.
And what's great about Hart is that Mark Few doesn't have to worry about running any plays for him, because Hart's happy to be in his role. And he will pick up shots. He'll pick up, kind of interior follows and play good defense. And you need a guy like that. They've been really efficient with him starting.
There's Olynyk down low. Turnaround over Dickerson. I went halfway down and came out. And Barham gives him another chance. Another one of those scrappy guys.
Yeah, Barham and Hart.
Sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, well, it may be in the future.
Yeah, you're right. There's Olynyk again to the basket. How does he do that?
Well, and Tollefson, who's playing on eggshells, does not want to pick up his 5th foul. So he is saying, I'm not going to defend very hard, and it's hard to keep a guy on the floor if he's playing that passively, because it's a smart move by Mark Few to get Olynyk the ball. So, Olynyk's got to understand, the guy guarding him doesn't want to make a foul, so he just goes right by him.
And an 8-0 run now for Gonzaga. The lead is back to 9. It's 61-52, 3:49 remaining.
I think we are too. Of course, Dellavedova was the player of the year last year, but you got Olynyk. Tyler Hawes has had really a great season for BYU, and then Brandon Davies is his partner at 17 points a game, and Foster has had some huge games. We saw how brilliant he was up here when really Santa Clara came up and decimated San Francisco on this floor. But I think Olynyk, look at the field goals, Barry. 11 of 15, 22 points, 9 rebounds. He does everything. He passes the ball, and he's had a brilliant year. And I think if you were voting right now, I think he's the odds-on favorite to be player of the year in the West Coast Conference, because obviously the Zags haven't lost.
And there's another rejection by Olynyk, just coming from the weak side, and no contest.
Okay, now poise, patience, been there before, have the lead, quality shots. You go to Elias Harris or you go to Kelly Olynyk and run a play, and at least try to get to the line. You just give it to your best guys, and that's pretty darn easy.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And really, this Pangos and does the perimeter guys understand that? Absolutely.
A 10-0 run for Gonzaga. over the last 4 minutes.
Gonzaga foul number 4.
And, you know, I mean, they're a good enough team that they don't panic when a team makes a little bit of run at them. And this, especially today, not an easy place to play because the crowd is in here. It's just about full.
And Barry, let's face it. I mean, the San Francisco Dons have played well here this afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, and they're probably saying to themselves, you know, if we had this kind of an effort on Thursday night, we probably would have beaten Portland. Now, not taking anything away from Portland. They came down here and they haven't won some games in a while, and you've got to give them a whole lot of props to come in here and win. But you've got to be consistent if you're San Francisco. You got to win on your home floor. And this game's not totally over yet, but you're playing a number 5 team in the country, and oh, that could be front and back.
Yeah.
That could be a front and back.
Sure was. Frank Harvey with the calls. Officiating crew doing a very good job today in a very physical game.
And Mark Few knows. He's been there before. There's still an eternity left in the game. We're only up 8. We haven't won here in 3 years.
So Cody Doolin picked up by Bell. Doolin penetrates. Now kicks out for Adams. Contested 3 and it won't go. And loose ball, battle for, and guess who got a hand on it? Gives it up to Hart now to Pangos.
I don't think you're in foul mode yet if you're San Francisco, but obviously you need to make plenty of stops.
Pangos just threw up a 3 that came up short. Harris saves it for Hart.
You know, the one thing that's happened in this game, Barry, the Dons, they haven't blocked out as well as they could. On misses, you've got to get a way to get it off. Shot clock now.
Yeah, got to take a shot here. And Hart does, and it won't go. And the rebound run down by Tollefson. So, again, the Dons get one down here. It turns it into a ball game again, but Dons just haven't been able to convert beyond the arc as they did, and they have this one knocked out of bounds by Pangos. I think the Dons will keep possession.
Well, here comes that guy Olynyk again, though. You know, Pangos trying to play pretty good position. Where does Olynyk? He's kind, you know, he does a good job. He's got long arms, obviously. And the only thing I would say is when you block him like that, Kelly, you know, get a little better touch on it,
yeah.
Keep it in play,
Yep.
because had he just tap blocked it, his team would have gotten possession. Now, that's the only negative thing I can say about him.
And that's not real negative.
That's not real negative.
No, he really is the whole package, and he's been exactly as advertised. We talked about him at the beginning of this program. Parker, tough shot, won't go, but it'll go to the line. And you talked about it earlier. Parker can create.
Number 30, Michael Hart. First personal.
Well, this conference has really elevated themselves. I mean, and I've been around it forever, Barry. It's as good as I can remember in a long time, with BYU entering, and of course Pacific coming in next year.
They're going to be pretty good too.
Yeah, and they're good. And you know, BYU will not go down. Gonzaga won't, even though Mark Few will. You know, they won't have Harris, and probably, quite frankly, not have Olynyk. I mean, he's playing at a high level. I can't imagine where NBA guys won't be really high on him. And you know, if you're going to get top 15, top 20 first-round money, I mean, it's very difficult to stay. But still, the league will be very good.
Absolutely. And I don't think the Zags they'll drop off, but they're not going to drop off a whole lot.
And St. Mary's is always good. Now, they do lose, obviously, Dellavedova, but they still have firepower. And San Diego's got a very young team, and Santa Clara's going to have to retool and regroup. But still, there's going to, and I think that the upstart teams are the Pepperdine and Loyola.
Yeah, I think the league is going to lose a lot of its good bigs. I think whoever can find some bigs to play next year is going to do well. It's a real guard-dominated league.
Number 10, Chris Adams. That's his first.
And you take a good look at this San Francisco team, and they've got everybody coming back. So they might try to initiate, as you said, maybe another big. Everybody's going to be a little bit better. Now, you and Tollefson will give them more experience, and you know, with a year under their belt, they have to be better next year.
Pangos scores the first point for Gonzaga in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but still a 7-point lead with 1:17. Now the clock very much the ally of Gonzaga.
No free throws in the first half by the Zags, and they're making up for it in the second half.
They sure are. And Pangos is the guy you want at the line. He gets them both down. 8-point game with 1:17 remaining.
I think you have to think 3 if you're San Francisco. You know, unless you get an automatic inside.
That wasn't an automatic.
No, it was not. So it looks like Gonzaga's going to seal the deal and finally get a win on this floor. First win in 4 years here.
It didn't come easy.
No,
either.
it did not come easy. And Mark Few is going to tell you that afterwards. He's got to feel pretty good about it now.
Well, I mean, it says something about his team. I think they showed a lot of character today because USF did make a really strong run. Tied the game here in the second half, and since that time, Gonzaga didn't look back, and they never let USF head them up.
It's really amazing that when you think about it, there have been only 5 teams in the last that have won 25 or more games, Barry, in each of the last 5 years. I keep saying that, but it is amazing that there's only 5 teams in the country, and 3 of them in the West Coast Conference.
No, that's right.
St. Mary's, Gonzaga, and BYU. And the other 2, of course,
Yes.
Go ahead, Kansas and Duke.
Just going to say 16 free throws in the second half after none in the first half. Dickerson rolling to the basket, scores with a minute left, but a 10-point lead now for the Zags. Olenek has had one big game after another. This was no exception, and he does it just in every aspect of the game.
And he doesn't miss many shots. And that's the one thing you notice about Kelly Olynyk. Here he's blocking shots. He's had a big defensive second half. But he's a powerhouse going all the way to the rim. I mean, he does move people out of the way. And Olynyk, 12 of 16 in the game, Barry, with a variety of shots. That little one, he's got that little floater finger roll to the rim, and at 7 feet, he could just drop it. And you noticed he can't shoot from the perimeter. If you let him open, he's going to make a shot.
You know, the other thing I like about him, I mean, he can put it on the floor and get by people. At 7 feet, he's very agile.
Well, you look at the points, and 12 of 16 with the 9 rebounds and 33 minutes played. And Mark Few, you know, he gives him a little bit of a breather, not for long, but he does rotate because he's got a nice rotation with Dower and guys in the front line that he can put Elias Harris out there and Karnowski. Now, I know that Karnowski didn't have a big offensive game, but he's played well for him in spurts this year.
Yeah, there was a game. He had 22 in
Yes,
one
he
game.
did. Yeah, no, see, so he's, you know, it's not like Gonzaga that the cupboard's going to be empty for them next year.
No, not at all. Oh, the Dons are going to get a turnover here. So I haven't been able to quite put it, the final nail in the coffin, and Mark Few still barking at his team.
And I think if you're Mark Few and the Bulldogs now defend the perimeter, which they've done reasonably well, especially well in the second half. I mean, the first half, I think the Dons got some open shots.
All the way to the basket. Holmes too hard. Dickerson put back, no foul. And finally, it's down into the hands of Harris. And Harris is fouled by Tollefson. He's got 11 rebounds in the ball game. Already the number 2 all-time at Gonzaga in that department. So we look at where things stand in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga remaining undefeated here today, 24-2 on the season. And both those losses fall into the forgivable loss category.
Well, Illinois, when they were playing well early, they lost at home, which is a rare occurrence for Gonzaga. And of course, lost the Butler game on an ill-advised inbound play. They actually had that game won. I think Gonzaga, as we said earlier, has a real shot at going into the NCAA tournament as the number 1 team in the country.
Could be.
Yeah, it'd be great for the conference. No doubt about that, to have a number 1 team. Last number 1 team was way back in '77. So it hasn't happened in a long time. I think Olynyk may make this one.
Could be a run out.
With a flourish.
Well, that's just kind of putting a period on a great afternoon for Kelly Olynyk. 26 points in the game. A big crowd of supporters for Gonzaga here at USF. The Olynyk Clinic, and he did put on a clinic today.
I think he had a mindset here of finishing this one fairly strong.
13 of 17 from the field. Always around the ball. 9 rebounds. Just gets his hands on a lot of balls.
Now the officials are going to a monitor. And was there some woofing going on after the shot? Well, what else can they be looking at?
I didn't think there was anybody else in the shot.
Well, I mean, after he scored. No, there wasn't anybody else in the shot. Now watch after he scores right here as he's coming up the floor. Well, doesn't look like it.
No. I thought maybe they might be looking at hanging on the rim.
Well, it's true that you cannot hang on the rim unless you're doing it for protection underneath. And I just think at this part of the game, I mean, yeah, let's just keep playing.
Well, Olynyk, not that he didn't have to work hard. He can step out and shoot the 3 too, but today 7 layups and 3 dunks amongst his 13 field goals.
Interesting, Gonzaga going to zone. The only time they've zoned the whole game, they're zoning in the last 23 seconds because they're trying to negate a 3-point shot. And they figure, why not give them a 2?
And Doolin takes advantage of it, but a case of too little too late. 10-point game with 21 ticks remaining, 14 for Doolin in the game. And Kelly Olynyk says, we did our job, we got it done. And, you know, that's the other thing I really like about this team. Against St. Mary's the other night, an emotional game, was the guards who stepped up. Bell and Pango, 38 points between them today. They did it down low. It was Harris and Olynyk. And, you know, other times, other guys, Dower has had big games. He was the leading scorer in the game against Butler. You know, so that's what I like about this team. I mean, they are the sum of the parts, and they got a lot of parts.
Yeah, they can hit you from all different angles. And after this game, Barry, they go back home, and they've got Santa Clara, San Diego, and they finish at BYU. So you kind of like their chances, although, and then they've got Portland, right? So that's your next 4. So Santa Clara, San Diego, at BYU, and 3 of the next 4 at home. You know, BYU could be a minefield game because we know how productive and how they could score.
I think the difference in this Gonzaga team from some of the teams that Mark Few has had in the past is their depth.
Yeah, depth. And I think over the last 3 or 4 years, they've really, with Pangos and Bell, they've got a solid backcourt. And with Harris, who's a veteran, who's been around forever, gives them power rebounding and scoring inside and out. And Dower, we know, is productive, and they added all kinds of guys. And then you put in Kelly Olynyk, who is, I don't think the coaches. In fact, I asked, did you realize, the coaches realize Olynyk would have this kind of year? I don't think truthfully.
He redshirted last year.
He redshirted last year.
If they thought a lot of him, he probably went to redshirt.
And a year before, you know, the guy only scores 5 or 6 points a game. Now they were loaded, and they had guys up front. Certainly, he just couldn't get the playing time. But they would honestly say that he's having a much better year than they thought he ever would, and that's to Kelly Olynyk's credit.
Well, let me ask you this: if you were a coach going up against them, I mean, where do you say they're vulnerable?
I don't see Gonzaga with a lot of vulnerability. The one thing I think when you play Gonzaga is Olynyk's going to get his. I think you've got to do a good defensive job on the backcourt. If Pangos and Bell get off and start scoring, they're really difficult to beat. And the other thing that you might think about when you play Gonzaga is maybe some full court pressure, some traps, try to disrupt them, keep them out of the half court, because this is a team that can score. They look inside first with Elias Harris and Olynyk, and then they go inside to out if you help. So they're kind of old school that way, and the same with Dower. They've got some power inside players. It's going to be difficult. They're going to be a tough out in the tournament.
I think so too. You know, and then you got the intangibles, guys like Barham and Hart. You know, they're just guys who are diving for loose balls, and if they're called upon to score, at least Barham is very capable of doing that.
And you know, Dranginis, we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, they only played about a minute.
Well, he's a freshman, but he's a good one at 6'5". So and Shemek Karnowski, who has had some 20-point games, was not effective this afternoon, but that's not to say that when they play Santa Clara, he might come in and get 15 points. But that's what the great teams have. And the other thing we talked about is this is also a pivotal reason why Gonzaga is so successful. They make so many more free throws than their opponents. I mean, when you've got a team that makes more free throws than their opponents even attempt, well, what does that tell you? It tells you that they power you inside, they get to the foul line, they have great guard play, and they win a whole lot of games.
Tollefson long 3, it won't go. Harris runs down another rebound and then is tripped up, falls over Dixon.
No, you got to congratulate the Gonzaga Bulldogs. It's been a brilliant year, great conference schedule. They win for the first time here. They've lost 3 years in a row. And Mark Few, can't say enough about Mark, and happy for him. He's such a wonderful person, and he's done a brilliant job at Gonzaga, and they got to really be proud of him and their program.
This is a good basketball team. It's a well-coached basketball team, and again, we pose the question: where are they vulnerable? I don't know. I don't see it. I'm not trying to tell you they're the best team in the country, but on any given day, they might be the best team in the country.
On any given day, they may be. And could you say this team you're looking at right here this afternoon? You know, this is a team that's got a real opportunity to make the Final Four.
Your point is well taken. They're going to be a tough out in the tournament. 26 points, 9 rebounds for Olynyk, 17 points, 13 rebounds for Harris. They just got it done in the backcourt, and they come away with a 71-61 victory. More information, including up-to-the-minute news, social media content, and championship information, all you have to do is go to WCCSports.com. Well, that's a wrap for us from here on the Hilltop at USF. An outstanding game. Dons gave it a bit of a run, fall short by 10. For my partner, Dan Belwamity, I'm Barry Tompkins. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day, everybody.